Hello and welcome to Fireside and Fairy Tale Apple Tree Cottage in the Scottish Borders, and this is Flosstube number 16 and it's lovely to see you this morning. It is Tuesday the 1st of April 2025 and another week has gone by with more handwork to show you. But first of all, I would like to thank everyone who has commented, who has subscribed. I've had some lovely, friendly comments and really helpful ones as well. So thank you very much. And let's get into looking at hopefully an inspiring collection for you to see today. First of all, the Book of Days, which is produced by Needlework Press. I've really enjoyed filling up the month of March, and it's kept me right, it really has. I had my plans, the actual samplers that I wanted to work on at the Notes and Musings column, and then they give you a section for March notes. I still have to fill this in now. I'm recording the month later this afternoon, but I'm going to be putting the samplers that have been begun, the ones that are being continued, what I've purchased as far as charts go, and the samplers that have been completed. And when I say samplers, of course, that can just be the small items as well. Cross stitch, if you like. I don't put knitting in here. I have a separate journal for knitting. I have done an episode on which included my knitting journal. If you want to look back at Fireside and Fairy Tale Knits, it's in there, and I may well return to it. So did I accomplish in March what I wanted to do? I think mostly I did. It's been a really gratifying month. The weather has been changeable. We had one week where it was warm enough to sit in the garden and stitch, but the rest was pretty cold, not too much rain, but certainly quite a lot of time given over to stitching because I was sitting indoors. There is one item which I'm not including in this week's episode, which is on this list, but everything else is. So if you can't get this, I couldn't find this last year for to be able to purchase in the UK. Perhaps I didn't look far enough. I think I got this on 123 Stitch from America. And the point of the matter is, it's absolutely lovely to have. I love the quotes in here. But if you can't find it, then you can certainly make your own. And I do make my own journals for other areas of handwork. So don't be stumped. Don't feel, oh my goodness, I don't have it. Do create your own. But I have to say, if you can keep a record on a daily basis of what you have been stitching, it keeps you right, but also it's a lovely record to look back and to keep. It's a treasure. So the first one that was an aim that I completed was Stacey Nash. I'm going to try this whiteboard. I don't know if this will work. This is an experiment today. Stacey Nash, Rose Cottage Pin Keep, and the aim for the month was to finish the blue at the foot of the little pin keep. I say little, it's not little, it's 8 inches square. So I think perhaps, I'm not quite sure what I will do with this one. I don't particularly want to frame it. It's very jolly, but I think I wouldn't want to frame it. So I think I'll make it into a small cushion, and I think it'll be lovely for that on my sofa. Anyway, I finished the blue, so I feel really happy about that. It was stitched on 32 count Weeks Dye Works grey. That's Confederate grey. I think they just call it grey now. It's a Zweigart base, but it's actually a really loose weave, and I thoroughly enjoy stitching on this fabric. I would say that the fabric itself is more grey than the original photograph. I don't know how this will look on the screen, but the original photograph, the linen has come out with more of a brown tinge in it. This is definitely grey, which has made the DMC threads, the thread choices, rather more cold than the original photograph. I may rectify that in some way. I'll think about this. I wouldn't want to take any of this out, but I may add in some rather more golden threads to brighten it up slightly, or warm it. It is slightly cold. So I was really happy that I had completed my aim with the Stacey Nash Rose Cottage Pin Keep. DMC threads is what I'm using for that. Now, the next one is the Anne Grant, can't remember the date, I'll tell you in a minute, from Shakespeare's Peddler. And I quite often do this. I'll go off at a tangent and get into something during the month. And this was not planned at the beginning of the month. And it did actually take me virtually a whole week to do. But off I went into its hand-sewn work bag, a hand-sewn work bag. And if you look back at my previous episode, I talk a great deal about it. I was very pleased to finish it. I decided to make a work bag specially for Anne Grant because I'm using silks, and I just wanted it to be kept rather more carefully than my other samplers. So the pocket has the silks in it, which is working very well, just to keep them. There is the thread gatherer, potter's clay. I just love this colour. Some beautiful, beautiful pinks, and Camelot's Lady. Let's see. Camelot's Lady was the colour that I think made me, didn't make me, but it drew me to the decision to make the Anne Grant. It's in the border, and it's a divine colour of pink. Camelot's Lady, and it's again by the thread gatherer. Silken colours. You can see the lovely red here, and then they also use the Schoolhouse Red, which I think everyone loves. Schoolhouse Red, and this is Gloriana's Schoolhouse Red, though I know other companies do, the cotton companies do make Schoolhouse Thread, and this is actually around the border. There's just one line of cross stitch around the entire sampler of Schoolhouse Red. Possibly need to buy more. I have just changed one of them because I already had Classic Colourworks Belle Soie Walk the Plank. So one of these colours I have changed. And the other colours of silk tend to be sort of browns and beiges. So I would say there's not a huge colour variation in it when you actually come to the colour choices. The front is hand sewn. It's cathedral window patchwork, and here we have the actual sampler. Teresa Vanette, Shakespeare's Peddler. She has the original up here, which I think she owns. And then this is her rendition of it. 1829 is the date. And at the moment, this is my absolute top favourite. I'm just loving stitching this. Having said that, you'll see my progress has not been a great deal because I've got so many things on the go. But I've done a bit. I'm working from the top left corner down, and I've actually started the alphabet. And I'm choosing to work the border as I go. So I'll probably go across more of the top first and do more of the alphabet. That's my plan anyway. Now the linen I've used is, let me see where my notes are. Lost my notebook. Bear with me, as they say. Lost my notebook. Oh, here we are. This is another notebook. I love notebooks. This is, I think, it's a pucker one. Pucker, Christmas present from my grandson with matching pen. Which he chose for me, which is just delightful. So anyway, here we are, and Grant is being stitched on 36 counts Weigart vintage 3009. So it's not the one that Teresa has chosen, it's a darker one, and I just wanted more body in it. It's a large sampler, as you can see, large sampler, but I wanted more body in the actual linen. You know, I'm finding more and more as I'm doing samplers, stitching samplers, that the choice of linen is incredibly important. So there we are, just loving it. I'm absolutely loving this one. And you know, if I had my way, I would just sit and stitch this, but that would be rather boring for my audience. So I will be covering other designers, particularly Blackbird. Now the next one is, I think at the moment, my second most favourite sampler. Blackbird Designs Come Into My Garden. And again, I think I'm loving this as much for the linen as anything else. I say that the design is inspired, it really is. So a great many are now, or have been, stitching this. It's stitching up very quickly. I'm alternating it week by week with Merrily Merrily We Welcome the Spring, which is actually I'm finding a much slower stitch. I'll be doing that next week. This past week I've completed my aim. Oh, got to get the board again. My aim was to do the next sections of the border, 2 of them, on the side, and complete the alphabet section at the top. And I accomplished that. The choice of blue is inspired. It's just such a joy to stitch because you can see the result as you're going along. It's very, very satisfying. There are 2 motifs going around the border. One of them is more quickly stitched than the other one. So the 2 side ones I've done for this week are the quicker stitch. There's less stitches in them. Whereas the ones with the fuller flower take longer. And so though my aim is to come down to the next section and do the next 2 motifs across, I may not actually manage that. That's not this week, but but the following one is I'm going to go and do Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring next. But the ones that are coming in here and across the other side are the same design as the full flowers here, and they do take longer to stitch. There's more stitches in them. So the other thing is I'm now going to come down to the house, and I'm quite slow with houses. I'm not a fast stitcher at all. I'm really not. I use a hoop, and I go in and come out. So those two actions are very, very much take more time than doing a sort of a darning method, a sewing method, running thread through, which is much, much more quick. I know that Carol Saltbox Stitcher and Nicole's Needlework, Nicole and Carol say they both use that faster method. I don't know about Nerissa's lifestyle in New Zealand. She certainly accomplishes a vast amount. It's wonderful. I love her work. Oh, I love all of their work. So in comparison, I am a steady stitcher. I love the feel of the thread. I love the feel of the linen, and I love the motion. I love the motion. So I probably indulge in the motion rather more than these other ladies. Now with this one, I've done the alphabet. I finished the top two motifs on the side, and as you can see, the next motifs are fuller flowers, and I've reached the house. So I'm just steadily working my way down in bands. I've done all of the border. I've done all of the bottom border, and so I'm coming down on the side border just in bands. I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Now, Blackbird Designs come into my garden, and I'm stitching it on 36 count vintage country mocha, and it's another Zweigart base. I do tend to like Zweigart. It's a very even weave, and it's Weeks Dye Works threads, and I'm loving this as well because of the color combination that I've chosen, which is not actually the recommended. It's not the recommended linen. Barb Adams, who has passed away now, I think she passed on in 2020 or 2021, inspired lady, just so gifted, so talented, and she chose 36 count Velt for this, which is it's a very much darker, a more mottled, greener linen than the one I'm choosing, but I'm loving what I've chosen. Now, Blackbird, Shakespeare's Peddler, Stacey Nash, and I'm just squeaking in my own little design, which if you've been following me, you'll see it's I've been doing it on the hoof, and which is a little bit like I think probably work high trapeze act, but I'm determined to make it work, and sheer determination, as my mother used to say to me, sheer determination. I think she meant it as a criticism. Actually, sheer determination, it's a gift. It's a gift. So this is my Easter design. And you can see it's building up gradually if you've been following me. What did I do this week? I finished the word forever, and I went for the off-kilter corner, which I aimed to do. This border would just come along here, and I wanted to drop this down, and I will drop this out. So this will be an inner border, and this is an outer border and an outer border, but just pieces of border. The border is broken up, and I'll put flowers to break up the border. And this type of border was very popular in the 1930s, and I will show you some examples of that possibly next week in handwork, where they would put the border slightly at a different level. And so I think this is going to work pretty well. There's a basket here at the top which will be filled with flowers, and of course we've got to have an Easter basket, haven't we? So no rabbits, no eggs, but certainly Easter baskets. So the next one is a new one, and there was great excitement when this one was published very recently. It's another Blackbird Designs, and one of two that they have just published. They also have a republication of some bird samplers. This is The Sweet Birds Sing, and I started to stitch it as much because I had managed to obtain the linen that was called for as anything else. They ask for 36 count Heartland, and I had not managed to find a 36 count Heartland. It was all sold out in the retail outlets that I use. So I went for 40 count, and I did that because I wanted to match the recommended linen with the recommended thread. And as I was stitching it, I realized that it's actually, there is some blue, but basically it's red and green. And last week I was talking about the fact that in Scotland, red and green were the colours that were given to and worn by the women. And you can see I quite often wear red and green, and my house is red and green. So as I was stitching this, I thought, oh, well, that's extremely fitting. It's going to be a very good one for my home's colourway. And I'm using the called for threads, which are a mixture of Classic Colourworks and Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works. And it's just a lovely colour combination there. It's very bright. It's very bright. Now, for those of you who know this, this is the In the Open Field little pin keep that I've chosen to do. But the pin keep in their design has a letter up here, and they've given you the alphabet to put in a letter. I didn't particularly want to do letters. I'm not particularly into dates and letters, I have to admit. Though for samplers that are larger and that I want to really keep, I will be putting dates and letter and names probably, because that's nice as mementos. But I've made a little heart instead in place of their letter. And this heart I borrowed from the previous design in the book. There are 3 projects in this book, and I went, let me see if I can find the heart. The heart is in The Sweet Birds Sing. Is it, I think, I don't know what this is actually. Is it a housewife? It looks like a housewife. And I've turned the heart upside down. So it's I'm actually using a little bit from the previous chart. This is a lovely book. It has 3 projects in it, though the 3rd project is very, very similar to the one that I'm making. Just a couple of very small changes on it. and I would say that the photograph, the pin keep shows up rather more faded in colour than the actual reality. The colours are really quite bright. Now, my purchase for the week, my new chart is, surprise, surprise, another Blackbird chart. Not quite sure when it was published, but it's part of the Garden Club series, and this is series 1, so I think the Garden Club series is actually quite an old one. When I say old, I mean it was published quite a while ago. 2015. And as I came into sampler stitching after that, really much more recently, this is completely new to me, but I love it. I think it's just so cheerful. I just love the colours there. That's blue and red, that lovely bowl of cherries. Life is a bowl of cherries, is it not? I already had some of I had wood rose, aged pewter, which I love, and tin bucket, which is also it's a very useful greyish green, and it's a good dark tone. So I'm waiting for, and perhaps they'll come tomorrow, the other threads which I have now ordered from 123 Stitch, I think, for a basket of cherries. Lovely. And the Garden Club series is on, evidently it's stitched on, I think there was one a month that was published, and they're stitched on different linen if you want. There are some lovely examples of people who've collected them and then made them in one big sampler. That's absolutely beautiful as well. How many more of these I'll do, I'm really not sure. I'm not going to commit myself. I may end up doing them all. So there we are. That was my purchase, my bowl of cherries. Now, I just wanted to come back to, I'll come back to another Blackbird design just in a minute. But I will show you, I'll show you, this came in the post this morning, and I'm loving these shaker boxes. I'm really interested in the shakers. I have studied and researched to a certain extent the shaker way of life. Some aspects of shaker way of life are really lovely and can be followed within our own homes. Other aspects I wouldn't follow at all. They wouldn't be my cup of tea, but there you go. Shaker boxes are not really obtainable in the UK, but what are, and very reasonably priced, are little boxes, lunch boxes for sushi, which is the Japanese lunch box, and they're in wood, and I love wood. I love textile. I'm not very happy with plastic, and I'm still building, so I'm not flooded out either with charts or with thread yet, though I'm sure I will. And I certainly look at the storage ideas. Nicole of Nicole's Needlework has some excellent episodes on how she stores and keeps all of her items very tidy. And Brenda of Brenda and the Serial Starter, Brenda has some absolutely inspirational tours of her home and her workroom in her basement, and shows you how she stores her many items. But as I say, I'm not there yet, though I do have one episode on what I'm storing, where I'm storing my charts at the minute, though I haven't showed you actually where my storage system for my threads yet. That will be in a later episode. Probably I will need to tidy them up. That's my DMC and my anchor threads. In the meantime, when I'm working, you'll see here, I'm working and I've got the threads. I have the threads in here, which to many people who are more orderly, that will seem a terrible muddle. It probably is, but that's where I've got to so far. There's the little needle case that I make, and I've got I do have an episode on how to make those. But here we are. I just love these boxes. They come through Amazon. They're really not very expensive at all. And in fact, this goes in here, so I've done it right. It feels like a magic box, isn't it? Sort of that goes in at the bottom, and that just fits so neatly. Isn't that lovely? I just love that. There's a lovely feel to it. And then when you're working with them, what do you do? That's what you do. There's your lid. It's really clever design. I love clever designs. And broadly what I do is I have an entire box for each sampler that I'm working on, and I will have the threads in the bottom compartment, and then I will put scissors and needle case for that particular sampler in the top. That's broadly the plan, though I still have to make more of these. I have to stop making so many samplers at one time, and I think I've got the right number of boxes now. This will only last so long. As I get more charts and more threads, I may well have to become more orderly, but that's where we are at the minute. So moving on just to another couple of things that I've done this week. My knitting. Again, I made those DPN double pointed needle holders. This is for the right sock, and that's for the left sock, and I do have an episode on how to make those. It's not the only way you can make them, it's my method of making them. This is how far I've got with my left sock. And this is how far I've got with my right sock. And being right-handed, I tend to go with the right one first of all. They are, of course, a little bit more, but they're all tucked in there with the needles. And the wool that I'm using is lovely for socks, and it is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply, and the colour that I'm using is Marshmallow 011. I won't tell you the size of needle I'm using because everyone's slightly different. The important thing with knitting, the really important thing with knitting is to work out your gauge with a sample square first of all. With my nice little knitting basket. Love this, just love this. And the book that I'm using for this is Socks Around the World, Around the World in Knitted Socks, 26 Inspired Designs by Stephanie van der Linden. And the socks that I am knitting are the Brussels lace socks. Brussels lace socks. Loving them. I love knitting lace. And that's for Belgium. She has... What does she have? She has Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Estonia, Latvia, Sweden, Japan, Armenia, another one from Germany, Belgium, Italy, Austria, Turkey, Scotland, England, Ireland, another one from England, another one from Ireland, another one from Switzerland, France, Spain, United States, South America, Morocco, and another one from Germany. And I'll just show you the one from United States. is very jazzy, and they're all absolutely lovely. There you are. Route 66. So that might inspire somebody to have a go with that. And then I have some bulbs in the garden. What do I have in the bulb? I have daffodils, crocus, still some crocus, and fritillary. They're up. I will try and do a painting of them. More daffodils, narcissus. My Lenten roses are still going on. And I have a pot of scilla bulbs. And so for my journal, if you remember, I'm doing a monthly journal, and I just started in March. There's my March daffodils. And then I wanted to capture the scilla, beautiful blue little plants. They're gorgeous, scilla. And I may well capture some fritillary on the next month before I go into April itself. So this is just a book to be enjoying watercolor. And then finally I said I would mention another Blackbird to finish. I will be doing Merrily Merrily We Welcome the Spring for this coming week. My top priority is my Easter one, The King of Love, My Shepherd Is, which I'm going to be working hard to finish the wording on that, 4 lines. But I wanted to mention this, My Heart Can Rest. Absolutely gorgeous sampler. There's the original, which was French. And I did make a start on this in the Heartland 40 count, and then I decided, no, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure. And so I stopped, and I gave the Heartland 40 count over to the Sweet Birds Sing. And instead I have chosen, which means I've got to start again because I had done 2 rosebuds on this. So I've chosen R&R Reproduction 36 count Winter Brew. I love Winter Brew. It's either Winter's Brew or Winter Brew. And it's just a lovely weave. As I was saying earlier in the programme, if I'm not happy with the linen, I'm not so happy with the actual sampler stitching. And of course it's all about stitching, isn't it? And I've chosen not the recommended threads. I've chosen to go with silk, I think because I'm so loving the Anne Grant, which is silk. And I had a number of silks, so from what I had, I've chosen a number. They should be in a box, shouldn't they? Yes, they should. So this one here is NPI, and it's a very, very dark, almost, it's got a purple shade through it actually. And it is needlepoint silk Bordeaux range, colour 713. So that's probably going to be my darkest pink. And then my next pink is Desert Rose by Gloriana. I think you can tell I love pink. Is there another pink in here? Yes, there is. I'm using, because I had them already, I'm using Karen water lilies, and this is Rose Blush, which gives you a number of pinks from deep through to very, very pale, almost white. And then Honey Bronze of Gloriana. These I think are all Gloriana. Honey Bronze, I'll put them on the thread actually, put them on the linen. Olive Grove, Gloriana. Baby Corn, You can see this is a bit messy. I've got to sort my silk out to be using it. Toadstool, that's a very useful one. Sable. Elizabethan green, Italian gold, and Classic Colourworks Belsois Sagebrush is the one that I'm not absolutely, it's quite a peppermint, so that's perhaps not going to be used. I will just see. But these are all the silks on. And that one there. And you can tell that as soon as this is finished, I'm going to go off and reorganize these silks, get them properly set up, because that's not very good, is it? And I'm not so sure that I would be making another work bag for my Heart Can Rest, because there just isn't time, is there? There just isn't time. However, you know, I say one thing in one episode and then I come along the next week or two and I've changed my mind and I'm doing it. But as I was saying before, my middle name is Mary, so I'm allowed to be contrary. I hope you've enjoyed this and that you've been inspired. Please like, please share, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting me and subscribing, and happy stitching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.